Welcome to First and Goal, where everything is made up and the points don't matter. Get ready for the latest and hottest topics in the SML. Let's get started. Here's your host, Mad Bomber.
Welcome to this week's episode of First and Goal. This week we've got Primetime 000, Faz, Mike, and Matt. What's going on, guys?
What's up?
How you doing?
All right, so we'll jump right into this. It's Sunday. Everybody wants to watch basketball. Faz, we'll start with you. We see the NFC East is pretty close right now, which is different from the majority of the cycle so far. Who do you think's the best team in the NFC East?
Yeah, this is one of the most fun divisions in the league. I think it's kind of a case as far as who's the best, kind of like a floor versus ceiling thing between Pauly and DW. I think they're pretty similar. They both play pretty good D. They run the ball well. The passing can hold them back at times. Pauly has, kind of the coaching and the scheming, and then DW has something with his defensive line where he just gets sacks every play. Really, it's just, how often does the passing hold these two teams back? I think Pauly is sitting around 15 touchdowns and 12 picks, I believe, and I think DW's same amount of touchdowns, but I think 22 interceptions. So I think Pauly is probably your safer pick there. But I think DW has the higher upside. I think if he were to clean that up, and he's gone on stretches where we've seen him clean up the passing, where he looks very, very tough to beat. Graham's a good guy, but I don't think he's really got a shot. And then obviously we kind of know exactly what Dump is. He's got his cycle. Beat up on some bad teams, talk a lot, get flooded, go quiet, and then right now we're currently in the beat up on a lot of bad teams section. So yeah, I think my answer for this one's gonna be DW.
All right, DW is the best in the NFC East. What do you think, Matt?
I think it's a two-horse race between Pauly and Dump. I think Pauly's got the best team between the two of them with the Giants, but I think Dump's the better player in Madden. I don't know what's going on with him. I don't know if he gets too cocky or not cocky enough, and based on which one he is, he performs differently. I don't think when we talk about this division we have much of a Super Bowl contender coming out of it, but I think Dump's a better player than Pauly. I think Pauly studies a little bit more. You can tell in the way that he runs his defense. He obviously knows something about that, and he's got a little bit better team. Barkley having evasive, and then he's got a lot of speed on that team. But I'm going to go with Dump on this one.
All right, and Mike, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm right with Matt on this one. Dump is easily the pick for me. We've seen what we get with Pauly. I mean, it's the same argument Foz had. Dump is who he is, Pauly is who he is, DW is who he is. The difference is Dump has a little bit more history. He's gone a little bit further. He's a little bit more explosive. And while I don't have a lot of faith in him getting the job done when it matters, I have more faith than I do in DW and Pauly in that regard. I'd love to say Graham. Everybody loves Graham, but he is far too inconsistent to even consider supporting. But yeah, this one's easily Dump for me. I don't think there's any, in terms of true upside, I think you go with Dump in this one.
Okay, and Prime, what do you think?
Yeah, Dump has the most upside. Also, arguably the most inconsistent outside of maybe Graham's. Graham's does have a fairly light schedule in the season. Of his last 5 games, he plays Finns, Fig Newton if he doesn't quit, Field, and then he plays Pauly and Dump. So if he can split one of those two, I mean, this guy's got a real shot at winning the division. That said, I'm going to go with Coach Pauly. Dump he's won 7 straight. He's due to go on a date or something, and all the wheels fall off the bus. And Coach Pauly seems more dialed in. He's got evasive, and he's got the best record in the division right now. And when you have that lead, then it's just easier. So I'm going to go with Coach Pauly.
All right, so that kind of gives you an idea of how that NFC East is. 4 people and 3 different opinions for who's the best. So moving on to somebody who's not the best. What's going on with Meats this cycle? Last cycle or my first cycle, he was the Ravens and he was in the playoffs and fighting for that number 1 seed. Both seasons, I think I was in there. Then what was he? The Cardinals last cycle, and he was pretty good. Made a Super Bowl the first season, and he's just progressively gone downhill. What do you think's going on with him? We'll start with you, Matt.
Well, I think you just answered the question. He was Lamar Jackson before my time, and he was Kyler Murray last cycle. He doesn't have either one of those. And, we've seen NYT and Dump both look absolutely incredible with Kyler Murray, who's kind of the meta quarterback with escape artist, that speed, and that gunslinger. And Meats, the Chargers aren't bad. The Dolphins weren't bad, but you don't go into that game thinking, oh, Justin Herbert, I'm worried. His passing, in my opinion, has regressed a little bit, and I don't know if that's the lack of escape artist or what. But when he played me, we played a close game. He's having a good season, but he threw right at my user, and that's just something that I don't really see Meats do. So I think it's just he doesn't have that fast quarterback. I know that's always been like the generic statement about Meats is that he needs a fast quarterback, but I think that's what's hindering him this cycle.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, that's what we're seeing. Mike, what do you think?
I don't think it has anything to do with his team. I think that Meats is going to be the same player no matter what team he has. I think the biggest thing and the biggest contributing factor to him going a little bit downhill is the fact that SML is just better. I mean, what he is and what he does, it's just not good enough anymore. That's what it comes down to. It's good enough to flirt with the playoff berth sometimes. It's good enough to beat the bad teams. It's just not good enough to beat the big teams, anybody fighting for a championship. I guarantee you, and Prime can either agree with this or not, if you face Meats in the playoffs, you're not worried about it because you know what he is. You know what's going to happen. If you are a true competitor, you know what to expect, and it's just not good enough in today's SML, and that's just unfortunately the point. Welcome to the Losers Couch Meats. I'll make room for you. I'm there with you, brother.
All right, Prime. Mike brought up some good points and really went out on a limb to say that you're either going to agree with this or disagree with it. What do you think?
Well, even in early SML days or mid SML days when Meats was winning regular season, he still sucked in the playoffs. I mean, the folding chair was the folding chair then as it is now. But, it's totally a quarterback related thing. Even last cycle, he made a Super Bowl. And, that was against QB stud, and QB completely undressed him in that game. But he's trying to prove a point, and I kind of respect it because there's a lot of guys who say, you know what, Meats, you can't do it without an escape artist quarterback. And you know what, hats off to the guy. He's trying, but at the end of the day, that's like telling, Tom Brady, like, hey, you can't win if you become a scrambling quarterback. It's just not going to fit. So Meats should just say, hey, you know what, like, I'm better when I roll around and I try to improvise and make plays. He's trying to be something he's not, and I think next cycle he should take his Ravens, be the Ravens. He's a Ravens fan and have fun with it. I mean, it's the quarterback.
All right, Faz, what do you think?
Well, it's a good thing this is the DW down because it's not going to be pretty. No, it's definitely a combination. I mean, everybody's kind of hit the nail on the head. Like we talked about, like I said with Dump in the last point, Meats is what he is, and what he is the SML Mendoza line. We called him that on Stone Searching. If you can beat him consistently, if you're a playoff team, if you're not a playoff team, you can't beat him consistently. He's right in the middle. And yeah, his thing is, he is what he is. He's not a great passer. It's drag, it's streak from the slot with a fast receiver. And if neither of those are there, he's trying to get out of the pocket. And with Herbert, he can't do it. So, we've seen, obviously he had success with Kyler last year. I didn't see it the season before, but he had the human joystick jukebox combination with the running back and escape artist at quarterback, which was lethal. We've seen what escape artist can do to a mediocre offense this season. So that's pretty much all it comes down to with Meats. You take that away, he's a player that just needs the crutch. He needs the crutch of the abilities. If you take it away, you don't got to worry about Meats.
Yeah, I think Prime hit the nail on the head that he was trying to prove people wrong, and I think he ended up just proving them right.
Yeah, which good for him. He took a shot at it. It didn't work.
I gotta say,
took a shot at it.
He had the prime opportunity winked at the blip to, all right, you know what, I'm going back to escape artist. And he doubled down after the Dolphins to who is he, the Chargers? He's so mediocre. I don't even know who he is right now. But, yeah, Meats, next time don't freaking double down. Be who you are.
Yeah. All right, so, Mike, we'll start with you for question 3. We got, 4 Super Bowls left, I guess, I know, Prime, you did the math and said that we should have 4 seasons left. So
Yeah.
assuming we have 4 left, is there anybody that's going to make their first Super Bowl in these last 4-ish seasons?
I mean, the obvious answer is no. I'm going to go out on a limb, and I guess we're going to keep the theme of doubling down going and saying if, and again, this is like a 1% chance, if somebody does it, I'm going to put some faith in Dump just because he has a clearer shot. Things go right. I'm pretty sure he hasn't made one before. I think he's always been a little bit short. But if there's any glimmer of hope, it's going to be from him.
I can think of one he made.
Yeah, he made one season 1.
Yep.
Did he? Okay.
Oh, he forgot the one Bomber beat him in.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
Shot
no.
against the host. Yeesh.
That's going to be minus 1 point. All right, Prime, what do you think? Anybody going to make their first Super Bowl in these last
You know, it's hard to. I'm looking through the list right now, and I'm gonna say outside shot NFC. Let's say Faz goes on vacation. Dan Russell Wilson retires. I'm gonna say Clinky. I'm gonna say Clinky's got a shot. He's kind of playing well right now, and inconsistent, but he showed some promise, and even against Faz in the playoffs last year, I mean he looked good at some points in that game, but I really don't think it's going to be anybody new in the Super Bowl.
All right, yeah, I'm off the Clink train for this cycle after losing to Figs, ZZ, and KJ all in the same season.
Me too.
That's tough. Faz, what do you think? Anybody makes their first?
Yeah, Clink is a guy that plays to his competition. You can tell what kind of Clink you're going to get based on who's on the other side. So luckily for Clink, in playoff games, he doesn't have to worry about the Figs or the ZZ. So that helps him. I don't think there's a shot anybody new in the AFC makes it. It is going to be Prime. It's going to be Q. It's going to be Bomber. Pretty much guaranteed the rest of the way.
And maybe Matt.
Probably not. I don't even think Matt believes that. Unfortunately for Matt, because I think if he had a little more faith in himself, maybe.
I made a Super Bowl though, so he's good.
He did. I enjoyed that Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the answer is going to be the NFC. I would say NYT, but I think he's about to hit his busy season at work, which is probably going to dog him if he doesn't make it this season, which he has a shot at. But I would say it's him or Clink. But the answer is probably no.
All right, and I think NYT has been in a Super Bowl before as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, never mind. So it's just down to Clink.
All right, Matt, what do you think?
Well, I was just going to say no and have you move on, but for the sake of the entertainment of the show, I'll elaborate a little bit. In the AFC, no. I mean, Monty's really the only one with a reasonable shot, and defensively he doesn't have it. I think if anyone's going to do it, this is the season because Faz went on vacation, so I don't think he's going to make the playoffs. I don't know if it's mathematically impossible, but it's not likely. So that means you really got to beat Dan or hope someone else does. So I think your 2 likely participants would be Clink and Doink. I think Clink's a little too offensively challenged to do it. He plays a lot like me, especially last Madden, where he's a good defender, but if he's got the ball late, it's not going to happen. So I'm going to get bit by the Doink bug once again and put a little too much faith in him. I'm going to say that if anybody does it, it has to be this season because you're getting a gift with no Faz. And you only have to beat Dan and maybe NYT. I'm going to go with Doink.
All right. Just didn't learn after
Poor guy
the
never
first time.
learns.
Yep. All right. So
That just went wide left there, Matt.
Oh.
so topic
Bounced right out.
Topic 4: who's more likely to go without a Simbardi? And I'll start with Prime on this one. Then we'll go to Faz, and then we'll have the 2. I'll say unbiased, but go ahead. Prime, we'll start with you. Who's more likely to go without a Simbardi? You or Faz?
Yeah, that's an interesting question, and I thought about this earlier, and I think it was around this point last cycle when Faz and I both, I mean, really, I think we traded some Bardis for the last half of the cycle, and it was around this point of the cycle last year when I really started kind of getting accustomed to the game because I don't really practice too much, and I feel the same right now. Bomber, I think for me, I have to get past you and QP to make the Super Bowl, and I feel confident at that point. Faz has got really Dan, and I think that's about it.
Yeah.
I think we're both going to win one, but I think that I'm never going to bet against myself. So for the sake of the show, I think I'm going to win one. And you know what? I was close last year, and I'm getting better. So I'd say with this year or next year, I'm going to win mine. I don't know when Faz is going to win his.
All right,
It's not
Faz.
going to be this season.
Why don't you let us know who's more likely to go without one?
Yeah. So I think, if you got to pick one of the two, I think the right answer is Prime, or not. Wait, who is more likely to go without? No, I think the right answer is me. Just because I think a lot of it too is just that he's got such a good shot to win one this season. Really, like you said in the AFC, it's just you and Q that he's got to go through. And to this point, Q is the only person who's given him, consistent trouble. So, that's really only one guy you have to beat.
That's true.
He
did win
done
one
so
out of
consistently.
4 against me so far this cycle. So
is that really what it is? I
Yeah.
felt like he had kind of.
no,
All right, well,
1 and 3.
fine. I didn't study that topic or their stats. So, I mean, it's really just got to go you and Q, and then he gets to the NFC. And in this season, without me, Dan's probably just going to walk through the NFC playoffs. And he has historically definitely dominated Dan. I don't need the stats to tell me that. We know
Yes.
we know that one's true.
That is true.
So now that I've talked enough to add a couple points to my total, I'll give you the actual answer, which is neither of us. We're both 1-1.
Hey, two things real quick. One, Bomber Prime preview in advance or two. And also, If I play Dan, I own Dan in the playoffs. Dan, I'd kill you.
All right, Matt, who do you think more likely to go without one?
I think the answer that jumps off the page when you just look at things holistically is Prime, because again, he's got the tougher conference. I think Baz only has to beat Dan or hope that someone else does, and boom, he's in the Super Bowl. NYT's got the Cardinals. I think that's making him look better than he really is, and I think coming to the playoffs, Faz would be able to dominate him. But Prime's got Q. We mentioned that. He's got you, Bomber. You're back. And Bean, when he's not tanking, he just put up 40 something on Faz. He's a good player when he's got Freight Train going and when he wants to win. So I think the AFC is just tougher. But that said, I think that Faz is the answer. I think Prime has got this game a little under his finger. He's got things figured out, especially on the defensive end. He plays defense unlike anyone I've ever seen. Outside of you, Bomber, you play really good defense too. But when I play Prime, it's just a different level. I have to figure it out. The other guys, I kind of know what they're going to do. And I know what Prime's going to do, but I don't really know how to attack it all that well. So I think Prime can play defense, which a lot of people can't, and I think he's gonna get one.
Okay, and Mike, we'll finish with you. Who do you think?
It's going to be a clean sweep here. While I would love to say that Prime's not going to win one, history says he probably will. Judging solely based on what I've seen on the field, I think Foz is a little bit more uncomfortable with Madden right now, and Prime's kind of hitting his peak currently. I don't super trust Foz to get it done defensively. If he has to, he can, but it's going to always give me a coin flip there. Whereas the offensive side, it seems like some ghosts are coming back to haunt Jordan Love a little bit. So we'll see how it plays out. But if you have to pick one, you have to say that maybe it's probably going to be Foz that maybe misses out. But there's a good chance both of them get one.
I will say the biggest problem for Faz right now is what does go on with Jordan Love. That could really decide a lot for you if you can trade him and get a mega star quarterback or what. That could be the determining factor.
That's part of it too. I mean, he doesn't have assets to make a move. Really, he's kind of married to Jordan Love at this point. I think you got some first round picks, but who's trading the quarterback right now of that caliber? I mean, it's going to be hard to find right now.
Yeah, you'd be.
If anyone's taught me anything about SML trading, it's that there's always a way.
That is true. That is 100% true. But somebody brought up a good point, so I'm going to add a bonus question in here, and we'll start with you, Faz, on this one. Is Bean tanking, or what's going on with Bean? Matt brought up that he's tough and he can be good with Freight Train, and here we are sitting. He's got 3 wins. It's not looking good for him. What do you think? What's going on there?
I don't think he's tanking, just because if you watch him lose games, he's losing them all the same way that he lost them in the beginning. You have meets who, we were just talking about, we know what he is. Don't double down. You need escape artist and just do it. With Beans, he knows that he needs Freight Train. He uses it. He goes crazy with it. And then as soon as he gets into a point where it's like, okay, let's put this game on ice. Here I have freight train. He just drops back to pass and throws it directly at a safety. And it's like, beans, dude, what? Like, what do you think was going to happen there? We've seen it so many times. Even when he was in the playoffs, he gets freight train lit up against Prime. He's got a chance to, pretty much close out the game at halftime. And he like throws a halfback screen like 15 yards behind the line, loses freight train and just gets abused in the second half. So I don't think he's tanking. I think he just refuses to use his best asset to close out a game.
All right, Matt, what do you think? You play him twice a
Well,
year.
I guess I gave away my my answer to this, but I started the tanking thing. He went from the 2 seed. He went from 5 wins with the Patriots before the blip to the 2 seed in the AFC after getting freight train. So I do think that Faz is hitting the nail on the head that there's a little bit of I want to prove I don't need freight train to win when he does need it to win, at least consistently. But when I played him, when I started the tank train, I was down under like the inside the 10 tie game, and he used his last time out with like 20 seconds left instead of icing the kick. And I know it's within the 5-yard line, but I mean, I'm not a good ice kicker, and I would always take that chance over anything else. And I just ran a play, took the timeout, and kicked the field goal and won, not even iced. And I was like, that's a really odd thing for him to do. And he said he thought he had better chance forcing a fumble than me missing the ice kick. I'm a little, I don't know about that. And then versus Faz, he has freight train lit up. He ran for like what, Faz, 300 yards against you or something?
It felt like 800, let me tell you.
I hear you. He did that to me too. And he's up 10 in the fourth quarter. And I think he threw 2 picks and I think freight train was lit up. I don't quote me on that, but he just makes decisions that if he's not tanking, I don't know what he's doing. He's not obviously tanking. It's not like you watch him and you're like, oh, he just completely missed that field goal on purpose or threw that pick on purpose. But something's off about the way he's playing. I play him twice a year. Something's different. He's only won 2 games, by the way, Bomber, not even 3.
Okay, 2 games. Mike's, what do you think?
He's not tanking. He's just lost. That's what it comes down to. He's got no vision for where he wants the team at. He's got no idea what he's doing offensively, especially moving forward. You look back at the last half cycle, Coop, it was Coop of the Titans, right? I know he said Jaguars. This is the cycle before. When Coop was good with the Titans, in the last Madden, he built it based on defense, and defense was destructive and a force to be reckoned with. Right now, DDNC, he's just not really. Again, he has no idea what he's doing with that team. He doesn't know what he wants to do. He doesn't know how to make them win now that they are, lacking a quarterback and the offense is getting older and getting traded and all that good stuff. But I mean, I have more history with him than you guys do. He's never been a top tier player. Back in Primer, he was never, one of those guys that you would put on Mount Rushmore and say this is a face of the Primer. He was just always consistently, my level, 500. And that's pretty much what it's going to come down to. He's not tanking. He's just really has no idea what he's doing right now with the team where it's at, and that's showing on the field.
Yeah, that's what it kind of looks like. What do you think, Prime?
Yeah, I actually enjoy playing him because if it's close in the fourth quarter, I'll usually take my linebacker, put him in some open space, and just let him throw the ball to me so I can kind of get a last-minute drive and win the game. But, no, I don't think he's tanking, but I don't think he's necessarily all chips in either. I mean, he just traded Julio Jones, week 3 or week 4 or something, and I think he was trying to trade his inside stuff, defensive tackle. I think when he got down early this year, he's like, okay, you know what? I'm just going to try to trade my pieces and reload and see what I can do. Maybe he's a game prepper. I doubt he's prepping anymore this season, and he's probably kicking himself for not going in on Tom Brady with his little boy toy doink face because Henry's not getting any younger, and pairing Tom Brady with some of the passes Brady can make and Derrick Henry would have been a really good tandem there, and I think that was a major team building flaw by No Bean. But no, he's not tanking. I just think he's an average player, and I don't think he's all dialed in this season. But next year, I think he'll do a little bit better.
Yeah, I think Matt might have hit the nail on the head saying that, he tried to prove he wasn't for all freight train, and it turns out he is. It's real similar to the whole Meats situation.
We are who we are.
Yeah, very similar to Meats.
Same with Meats, same with DDNC. Yeah, everybody is who they are. Stop trying to be different.
Yep. All right, so with that, even with the bonus question, it looks like our winner this week is going to be Faz with 90 points. So Faz, these 30 seconds, all yours.
Oh man, I've never won a first and goal. I don't even know what to do with this segment. This is crazy. We'll just go with saying Prime, enjoy your title this season. I think you got it. beat up on those Falcons for me, and then I'll be doing the beating up on the Falcons next season. So we're coming back. Faz coming back strong. No vacations. Just kidding. I'm going away again, but it's fine.
All right, there you go, SML. Faz says that me and QP have no shot against Prime, and we'll see how that turns out. So thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for being on. This has been First and Goal.
Thanks for listening to First and Goal. Be sure to check out Mad Bomber TV on Twitch and YouTube for the latest from the SML. And we'll see you next time on First and Goal.